One thing we have to understand is that we are going to get there. We are going to make it. We are on the way there. We are on our journey to where we want to be. The stress, the worries, the anxiety, it's only slowing you down. It's only creating resistance because you are on your journey there. But it's kind of like, in so many words, it's kind of like, say you're on your way to the grocery store, right? And then you're worried that the grocery store doesn't exist. Well, how would you be on your way to the grocery store if it doesn't exist? You can't be being led somewhere that doesn't exist. You understand what I'm saying? In so many words, you gotta let go and let God. Literally, you gotta let him do what he needs to do, because you can surrender to God. You can say, you know what, you can fully put your trust in God and do what he tells you to do and move forward without any stress or worries. But then when you pull back and you start to try and take control for yourself, because now you don't know if this grocery store actually exists, and so you pull back and you start to worry and feel that anxiety building up, and all that does is slow you down. All that does is slow you down, because then you start wondering, like, wait a minute. You start to back up. You start to put it in reverse, like, I don't think I'm going to the grocery store. Where am I going? And God is trying to tell you, you're going to the grocery store. Your dream that you have been working towards this whole entire time, everything that you've been through that has led you to this moment and is going to take you to the next moment, it's taking you to your dream. It's taking you to the grocery store where you can have whatever you want. It's really important that we surrender to God's plan and God's timing, because we could want to get to the grocery store, and that's going to be the analogy that I use probably throughout the rest of this video. We could want to get to the grocery store instantaneously. The minute we start walking, we want to get to the grocery store. But the thing about it is, it's not like that. Everything has to go according to plan and according to God's plan. You see, the thing is, God wants us to succeed. God wants us to be happy. And if achieving your dream makes you happy, if the intention behind it is completely pure, then trust and believe you are being led there. Trust and believe that 100%, without a doubt in my mind. I know you are being led to where you want to go, as long as you have pure intentions. Worry and anxiety is really like our biggest downfall, because you have to ask yourself, when you start overthinking and overanalyzing things, you might think that you're protecting yourself from being let down. You might think that you're protecting yourself from, failure or sadness or any negative emotion that's not the most pleasant to feel. And in so many words, when you start to overthink, you start to expect the worst. When you start, as you're on your way to achieving these dreams, you start to expect the worst. And let me ask you a question, and I want you to really ponder on this and meditate. When you overthink, ask yourself and be honest with yourself. That's one thing I'm always say. If you want to get anywhere in life, you got to start telling yourself the truth. You got to start telling yourself the real truth, because the truth will always resonate with you. I've been saying this in my videos, and it's been proven countless times. The truth will always resonate in your bones. The minute you hear the truth, it will resonate within your bones. But you have to be intuitive. You got to strengthen that third eye, because that's the only way. I literally see the truth. I hear the truth. I know the truth. Like, there's no way around it. You understand what I'm saying? So ask yourself this question. When I overthink, am I protecting myself or am I limiting myself? Because let me tell you this. Overthinking and trying to come up with different outcomes is limiting God. And when you limit God, you limit how much you can see in your life. And so if you said you're protecting yourself, you're wrong. Because you shouldn't. When it comes to intuition, you don't need to overthink your intuition. It's going to be clear as the freaking sun shining. It's going to be as clear as you can see me. It's going to be something that's evident. You understand what I'm saying? Even though your intuition is telling you to do something and you might not know exactly why, it's going to be clear that you need to go that route, or it's going to be a clear sign, right? If you have to overthink anything, more times than not, it's not your it's not your intuition. Because your intuition, you'll never have to overthink it. It's going to be clear. Matter of fact, it's going to be ringing in your head the right answer. You got to trust God. Trust in his plan, okay? You know where you want. That's the thing I was saying earlier. You know where you want to be, no matter what it is, right? Believe in miracles. Believe in miracles. That is something I can tell you for sure. You might not know how it's gonna happen. You might not know what he's concocting. You might not know what he has prepared, because it's not like he is preparing it. No, he is preparing you for what he has prepared for you. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? And that's why it's important to surrender to God, because he's already got it in the trunk. He's already just waiting for you to be like, are you done? Are you done complaining? Are you done being worried? Are you done stressing so I can give you this? I'm not going to give it to you if you're worried, if you're stressing, if you don't trust that I got something good in the trunk for you. You understand what I'm saying? You cannot be worried and stressed. Man, I like that I make these type of videos for real, because whole time, like a few days after the video is uploaded and I go back and I just watch it, I'll be like, damn, I needed to hear that. Like, it'd be so crazy. And saying this stuff out loud, 9 times out of 10, it's almost like I'm being like used as a vessel to channel things that God wants me to say. But so I'm not really thinking about what I'm saying. It's just kind of just like flowing out of my body. Like half the time I don't even be knowing that I know certain things, but apparently I do. You know what I mean? Like apparently I've been new. Like that be the thing. Like apparently I already know the wisdom to help me go through life. That's why it's important to speak out loud. Like speak your thoughts out loud and express them so you can make sense of them. But anyways, you will not receive what God has for you until you start to trust him 100%. Until you are willing to let go of what no longer serves you. For me, one thing I keep in my notes and one thing I keep repeating to myself is you will continue to seek chaos until you decide to heal and choose peace. And I've said that previously in my videos, and I've been repeating that to myself for a while, because things have only just started, like not just, but it's only been, I'm 20. Things have really started to get good for me when I was 19. Like things, and a miracle happened in so many words. Like I said, believe in miracles. From 18 to 19, you would be like, who the hell, you would be like, who the heck is that? Like, I don't know that, Jewel. Like, it's so crazy how much I've changed in pretty much almost 2 years. You understand what I'm saying? Like, the growth is astronomical. It's really, matter of fact, it's really only been 1 year. It was around this time last year. But anyways, things have really started to get good for me in just 1 year. And so for about 19 years of my life, I was just used to constantly having chaos and negativity and constantly choosing that route. And I have to keep reminding myself, if I want to rest, if I really want this peace, I have to relax and I have to choose it. Of course, to me, the peace feels boring at times because I'm so used to constantly being on edge, constantly being shaken up, that since I'm not being shaken up anymore by life, since I'm not being shaken up anymore by people, since I'm not shaken up, since I'm not on edge anymore, since I'm not constantly looking over my shoulder, since I'm not constantly overthinking, it feels weird. It feels really, really weird. I'm not gonna lie, but then I realize this is God's plan for me. I'm not going to receive what he has prepared for me if I'm constantly on edge. You understand what I'm saying? I have to relax and I have to chill if I'm going to receive these types of things. If I'm going to move on, if I'm going to progress, if I'm going to let God do what he needs to do, so that way I can take the next step up, so that way I can receive what he has prepared for me, so that way I can see my dreams as my reality, I gotta let go. And one thing about it, one thing I keep telling myself, one thing I have to keep reminding myself, if you also are the type of person to choose chaos, ask yourself genuinely, when you are choosing that chaos, how does it make you feel? It don't make you feel good. It makes you feel a sense of familiarity, because chaos can be familiar to us, but it doesn't, just because it's familiar doesn't mean it's good. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to surrender to his plan, surrender to his guidance. Like if he tells you to jump, then you jump. In so many words, God is like, listening to God is like playing Simon Says. You understand what I'm saying? When Simon says jump, you jump. If Simon doesn't tell you to jump, you don't jump. If Simon doesn't tell you to touch your toe, you don't touch that toe, because you are not meant to do that. You are meant to follow what God says. It's so simple. And when you go around and you do your own thing and God didn't tell you to do that thing, well, you slow everything down. You take a misstep. And that's okay. Forgive yourself for the missteps that you do take. I'll always say that. Forgive yourself, man. You got to pick yourself up and you got to keep going. You cannot let yourself sulk. You cannot let yourself sulk and wallow and frown, okay? Nobody is happy when they're frowning. That's literally the truth. You understand what I'm saying? You must be happy no matter where you are in life right now, because trust me, you are exactly where you need to be, so that way you can move on to the next step. God's plan, in so many words, God's plan for you is step by step. He's not going to take you from the step all the way to the top of the staircase. That's not how that works. He is preparing you. He is trying to teach you how to grow. My last video was about growth being a gradual process. It's not going to happen like boom and then boom, you're a flower. You're not going to go from seed to flower instantaneously. No, you're going to have to go from seed, then the seed swells, then the little sprout busts open the seed, then it breaks through the soil, then you got to get the sun, and it's a whole crazy process. And who knows how uncomfortable that might be for the plant. Like, you know what I'm saying? But you have to grow, and you will grow, and you are growing every single day. If you can just commit yourself, every single day to taking some kind of step in the right direction, you know what God is telling you to do. If God is removing people out of your life, in so many words, you got to put 2 and 2 together, make 4, and say, okay, these people are not meant for me. I need to water myself. I need to focus on myself. If you lose a job, if God removes you, bro, one thing I'm trying to say here, everything happens for a reason, right? And there is significance to everything. Do not overlook any detail, no matter how small, because there is significance to everything in your life. Everything is on purpose. Everything, this freaking bush behind me, it's on purpose. It's not just there just for decoration. No, it has a purpose. It's on purpose. You are on purpose. We have to surrender to God. Because when you start to surrender to God, these are the types of things you learn. You learn that everything is on purpose. You learn that you are exactly where you need to be. You learn that He is the one driving the car. He has not forsaken you. Your dream, in so many words, is a vision of the things He has prepared for you. But since you cannot see it in front of you, you kind of have like a little distorted image of the dream. And when he brings it to you, when He reveals it to you, it's going to be so much better than you're seeing. Because in so many words, it's like a good memory that low-key starts to fade, and you can't remember like all the details, but you can remember like the most good parts. In so many words, He's putting it all together so you can see it in all its beauty. You gotta trust in Him. You cannot back down. You cannot back down. When you surrender, you cannot say, no, I'm scared now. And if you do, that's fine, but just surrender again. Every single time you feel yourself de-surrendering, every single time you feel yourself trying to take control, tell yourself the truth. Tell yourself that you're trying to take control because you're scared and you don't know what's going to happen next. And that is fine. It's important that we talk to God and we tell Him what's really going on. Do not hold back, because you stand naked before God. Like, He sees everything. You don't need to freaking hide anything from Him, because He sees what you're hiding, and He would rather, there is no weakness in Him. Whatever it is that is burdening you, He can take on that burden and transform it into something beautiful for you. But you gotta let Him do what He gotta do. You gotta surrender. You have to release all of those negative traits about you, and you're gonna have to do it gradually. It's not gonna be a 1 and then 10 process. You're not gonna go from 0 to 100. You're gonna have to go from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3, etc., until you get to where you're trying to be. But like I said, when you start to worry and overthinking everything, you start to slow the process down by a long shot. When you start to overthink and worry, you go from 0, 5 days later, now you're at 1, 5 days. Like, you gotta let it just be, just flow and just be. And as you are preparing yourself, the thing about it is, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna end the video. You've got to live your life without even constantly telling yourself, okay, time to live life, time to be present. You just got to be present. You just got to be happy without thinking about it. You just got to be grateful without thinking about it. You just got to live without reminding yourself to live. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's where you get yourself stuck up. The more and more you just choose to do it, just like you choose to get up out of the bed, you could stay in the bed. Nobody's telling you to get out the bed. If you have a job and you're like, well, I gotta go to work, nobody's telling you to get out the bed and go to work. You do that because you choose to do it. You could stay in the bed and lose your job. That's on you. You understand what I'm saying? Everything is on you. It's the choices you make. So if you want to get to where you want to be, the fastest way possible is to listen to God, because he, in so many words, it's like Monopoly, right? When you're playing Monopoly, you don't know what roll of dice you're gonna get. Like, you don't know what number you're gonna get or whatever. You don't know what you're gonna land on. But God can see the whole map out. He can see everything. And he's telling you, you gotta go this way. You gotta go this way. You gotta skip that. You gotta let that go. You gotta move through this obstacle. You gotta take care of yourself. You got to listen to God. That's all I'm gonna say, man. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Thank y'all so much for thank y'all so much for everybody who is joining the community, man. I really appreciate y'all so much. Welcome to the community, for real. Like, I hope y'all are having a good time. I hope y'all are comfortable, feeling loved, feeling appreciated. Yeah. I hope everybody is having a beautiful day, man. Today is a beautiful day. Every single day, just look for beauty in everything, man. Whether you just see two people laughing walking down the street, that's beauty. Whether you just see a tree, that's beauty. Like, start to poke out the beauty in life. Start to pay attention to the things that make you feel good. Start to pay attention to the things that bring you peace, and do those things more often than the things that are just causing up a storm. Pay attention to how you feel around certain people, to what energy people are bringing into your life. Because if it's more negative energy than positive, snip that right in the bud, man. Let it go. Let it go. I'm so serious. Let it go. If it's not serving you, let it go. You trust me. Like, just give it time, man. I'm gonna tell you, like, you're gonna be looking. One thing I keep telling myself, I'm gonna look back come the end of this year, come December. We're in July right now. Come December, I'm gonna look back at these moments here where I am right now in July, and I'm gonna be like, damn, man, I'm so glad I let all that go, because I wouldn't be here if I never let it go. You never know how far. Let me tell you something. Letting go of things that do not serve you will never hurt you. We can be people pleasers at times. We can try to please others by keeping their toxic energy around us, but all that does is hurt us in the long run. But that's really all that I have for this video. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see y'all in my next video. Until next time, bye, friends.